It's wonderful to have you on Filme Shilmy, Anurag. A warm welcome to you and a huge congratulations on Choke.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So, first of all, I just wanted to say, you paved the way by foraying onto Netflix with Sacred Games and now Choked. So, how creatively satisfying is it to kind of create content for the OTT platform?
It's very satisfying in the sense, like for me, I can say like, wow, anything that I've done with Netflix, it just feels like this is the way film should be made.
Yeah.
And that's how, in the sense, unlike a lot of my other films where I'm always working under a lot of constraints, and then there's always this pressure of wanting to put it out in cinemas, and then there's this pressure of PNA, and there's this everything is decided on the basis of who's in it and not on the basis of content.
Sure.
So, which is why for OTT, it's actually so much more pleasure to work with.
Absolutely. So what drives your decision to release certain content in cinema and digital mediums?
It's always driven by content in the sense it depends on what is something that you would want people to want to see it as a big screen experience, because in India's big screen experience is very different from many parts of the world, in the sense in India films are still driven by stars and
Yeah.
still driven by what's supposed to be a popular content. So sometimes that decides your budget, and the budget decides where do you want to put out the film.
Sure. And I think credits go to you as well, because you've always chosen talents, whether it's in filmmaking, behind the scenes, or if it's on, actors themselves. You've always looked out for these hidden gems. I mean, so what sort of drives you to sort of look out for such people? I mean, I would love to know that.
I just look out for people like me. This is people who have this need, this hunger, and who are honest, and who are ready to go to that length to pull off something.
Sure.
In the sense that, and they're right cast for it.
Yeah.
I'm saying have always believed that when you want to make a film, anything should be funded because of what you are trying to make. But it doesn't work like that here. It doesn't work like that here.
No, absolutely.
So it's a very difficult zone that we are in.
Indeed. But, in what way, if at all, do the current circumstances of COVID-19 and lockdown sort of, do you think, if at all, impact the audience reactions of OTT ventures?
I think a lot of audience is consuming entertainment right now on OTT, because they're in the lockdown and cinemas are not open, and OTT has become the source for people are even watching plays, and they're watching like operas and concerts recordings online these days. All the stand-up comics have found OTT platform to reach to a wider audience.
Yeah.
So I think it is coming home, and what is going to change is the home entertainment system. That's the next big change, because people will find ways to make it cinema experience at home.
Yes.
Because so then they can watch it at their own comfort. So that's the next thing that are going to happen.
And I think perhaps because of that, people's appetite for films like Choked has arguably grown as well, right?
Yeah.
So
that's
how
absolutely, because the Choked, the script of Choked came before demonetization, 2015. It kept changing with time. But 2017 we had the actress on board. 2018 we had the actor on board, but the film still took time to find its way, to get it made, to be put together. Only when there's an audience that kind of started watching content on OTT.
Right. Yes, absolutely. So, be it Choked or any of your other films, there seems to be that whole idea of a common person, an ordinary common person getting caught up in a whirlwind of bleak and bottleneck circumstances. So why do you sort of choose this style of narratives in your films? Is it a particular reason?
I think I just find something intriguing. I found something very intriguing about the idea of a woman who finds money in the drain, and that is what pulled me in. And her whole marriage, the story, it was a marriage story around a drain, and about the ill-gotten money, right?
Yeah.
And that is what pulled me in, because there's something fantastical about it, and then it is actually, it turns out to be much more real than it is fantastical. And nothing is just the nature of it. It's also away from anything that I've done. So like,
Mm.
it is nobody dying and
Yeah.
nobody, no
Exactly.
twists and turns like that. So
Yeah.
I also want to push my own boundaries and do much more than just crime, much more
Sure.
than just gangsters and murders and things.
Yes, exactly. And I'm really glad you mentioned
Yeah.
that because I was going to say, I remember I was at your talk at London Indian Film Festival last year, and your words have really stuck with me since. What is dark to you might be natural to me. I remember you said those words on stage.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
I just wanted to sort of, kind of understand how do you think, how easily accepting do you think the audience has become of your cinema? Because it is quite dark, many of your
Yeah,
films.
it is. I think people watch it. They sometimes expect too much. Sometimes they're surprised. Sometimes they're disappointed. But I think I have found a much wider audience online
Yeah.
than I have found them in cinemas, because
Mm.
much of my audience is also very aware, educated audience.
Yeah.
So, and they will like to watch things at their own time. And because they're educated, aware, and informed, their expectations are also very different.
Right.
So, people who are disappointed are the people who expect the film to be more about demonetization than about relationship. And people who are surprised are the people who come in blind, just wanting to see the film
Yeah.
and take it for what it is. So, it's all
Exactly.
kind of reactions coming in from all sides.
Yeah, that's true. And I think I quite liked the film actually, to be very honest. I was very surprised by it. I think I was definitely surprised. I was like, oh God, a film about demonetization. I was like, is it going to be one of those political films? I was like, really? But then what I saw, I was like, this is actually really cool. So I'm really glad you mentioned that. But I think also kudos goes to you as well, Anurag, because your films seem to capture realism and they never shy
Yeah,
away from grit. Like I still remember that last scene in Ugly, and that image has stuck with me since, and I think it's
yeah.
kind of scarred me a little bit as well. um so yet you sort of retain all these dark elements and all these like sort of sinister parts of our world and our society, but yet you present it in a very cinematically aesthetic way. So how do you get that right balance as a filmmaker?
I don't know. I like things to be cinematic. Even when we had no budget to make movies, I did not want people to feel like my film did not have any money to make it.
Sure.
So we would find that, and I have great collaborators, like from Natarajan Subramaniam to Rajiv Ravi to Nikos to Jay Oza to now Sylvester. People I've worked with and collaborated with, they've been great collaborators since they love their craft, and everybody kind of contributes to it. It's the production designers that I've worked with, from Wasik Khan to Ravi Srivastav, and in between Mayur and Shazia Iqbal and so
Mm,
many people. Everybody kind of contributes to it, and
mm,
we all want to create cinema. Nobody wants to take it lightly, and we all
yeah.
really want to be as cinematic as we can be.
Yeah. But when you present such dark things, surely it must take a bit of a toll on you as well, though, as a filmmaker, right? Like mentally, I'm sure it must
No,
dawn on
no,
you.
it releases me. It releases me,
Oh, it does?
because for me, I use cinema as exercise myself. It's like exorcism. So
Okay.
after a film is done, I feel much lighter, and after it's released, I'm very light.
Wow. That's very
Mm.
interesting because often when I speak with actors or filmmakers, when they make such dark films or part of something that is so like foreboding and scary in that sense, a lot of people sort of say that they have to go through some sort of like therapy or some sort
Yeah,
of
I think my film for actors can be emotionally kind of a very
right.
overwhelming experience while
Mm,
they're going through it.
yeah.
Not as much for me.
Yeah.
For me, but when the shoot is over, it's a big release. It's a very massive release.
Definitely, absolutely. So there's also a strand of quirkiness to your movies as well. There's like it's
Yeah,
I just love the way you use symbolism as well. Like you had the dancers in Dev D, and then you also had
yeah,
those two dancers in Manmarzia as well. So you always have these
yeah.
very quirky aspects to your films, and that really makes it an Anurag Kashyap movie. But what sort of drives this quirkiness? Where do you get that from?
I don't know. Maybe I just have it because I never. My biggest struggle while I'm making a film is how to use a song. So in the
Yeah,
process, we try to find things and devise things.
right.
I think it comes out of there. It always comes out of there.
Hmm.
How to
Hmm.
use music.
Absolutely. And I think I think also, Anurag, you've witnessed success, you've witnessed failure, and you've witnessed everything in between as a filmmaker. So, when films,
Yeah.
especially that are made on a big scale and that are really, highly anticipated, when films like that don't work out, how do you overcome that? I mean, is there a specific process you
Uh,
go through?
the only process I have is just immediately getting to the next. That's my only way of dealing with things. Like if something is pulling me down, I will swim like harder and try to surface,
Okay. So
yeah,
swimming.
and
So
I
swimming.
will, yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay. So swimming plays a major role in your life, right?
all the time, all the
Wow.
time.
That's amazing. And on a final note, Anurag, because I think a lot of us are very excited. Well, not very excited. I think that's the wrong word to use. But I think once this lockdown ends, I think everyone is very keen to see how things will go back to being normal, or what the new change will be in the entertainment industry. So, what are your visions as a director and producer for cinema once lockdown ends?
I have no idea. I'm good at adapting.
Okay.
I'm very good at adapting. So whatever the world will be, it will be. I'll adapt to it, but I'll continue making cinema.
Yeah,
Since I really don't know, I really don't know what the future holds, but I aim to survive and I aim to adapt and I aim to continue making movies.
I would love to see you make another Manmarzia type of a film. Like, I think you can really get romance right. I've noticed that even with Dave D as well.
No,
I
it'll come.
I really hope.
Yeah, I think there's another one coming soon. Let's see.
Oh, wow. Well, that's very interesting. But Anurag, I think it's always been a long wish of mine to to kind of interview you, and I'm really glad that we could have you on Filme Shilmy. Thank you so much for joining us for
Thank
this
you
chat,
so much. Thank you so much. Thank you
and
so much.
congratulations once again on Choke.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
So nice
Thank you
talking to you.
so much. Lovely talking to you
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you so much, Anurag.
Yeah.
Thank you.